Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to this episode of Cheap vs. Expensive. I'm Jimbo, and today we're going to be talking about some very, very cool products. Today we're talking about an expensive and a cheap car dryer or pet dryer, motorcycle dryer, all of them. So we're going to talk about what they are, the differences between the very expensive one at about $400 and the cheap one that goes all the way down to about $85. We're going to demo it. We're kind of going to show you some key features that I love for car dryers in general, some uses that I never see people talk about, and a whole slew of stuff. So on one end we have the Master Blaster car dryer. It's a heavy duty, really well built, expensive one around the $400 range. And then on the cheap side we have the Shelandy. It's actually a pet hair dryer, but we're also going to talk about the motorcycle dryer at an even cheaper rate and why that may be a better value, and all the specs in between there. We're going to demo it on my truck. I actually bought a wind meter to measure how much wind was coming out of it, and I broke it on the first use, so I can't be doing that. So anyway, we're going to be doing all that. We're going to talk about, is the more expensive one actually more expensive and not ideal, and all that coming up. So let's get right into it. To use my phone for notes because there's just so much information that I want to make sure that I get across in this video that I'm going to use it for a little bit of notes. So the expensive one coming in at $400 is this bad boy right here, $400 on Amazon, and in fact that was the cheapest one I could find for the Master Blaster. There's actually a kit that's about $450 that comes with a longer hose, a wall hanger, comes some accessories, but since the cheap one didn't come with that, I wanted to try to make this as even of a comparison as possible. So this is the Metro Vac. This is an 8 horsepower. It's a dual motor, so each motor is 4 horsepower. It has a couple dials on the side of it that you can turn on both motors at once or just one. It comes with a 10-foot flexible hose and a 12-foot cord to plug into the wall. Those are going to be two important features that we're going to bring up a lot. It comes with a 1-year warranty, and it's 25 pounds. It comes with built-in wheels already on it. It's a very heavy unit. Does not come with any additional accessories in the cheap version or the less expensive version, meaning you don't have the accessories. So it's a very, very heavy duty, and actually we're going to talk about later, the dual motors are important, and I love how they have them on separate switches so that you can kind of adjust the airflow. But when you have both motors going at the same time, it's actually almost too much airflow. I know that sounds crazy, and we'll talk more about it later. One of the cons about this machine, and I don't know what it is, and actually I have a client that has one with a 30-foot hose, but one of the cons of the machine is it doesn't really ever warm up. And by the time it does warm up, you're almost done drying the car. So one con that I have seen in using this machine for a while is that it really doesn't get warm enough to have that be a major feature of the machine like it talks about. On the cheap side, we have this machine right here coming in at an astounding $155. Again, is a dual motor. This is the Shelandy Pet Force dryer. This is the model SLT 2402. Again, a dual motor. So it has these switches similar to the Master Blaster where you could turn on both motors or just one at a time. It does come in with a little bit less horsepower. This is the 4.2 horsepower, so again, it's for dogs, not for cars. Therefore, you really don't want too much power for a dog. But when we're talking about cheap versus expensive, on the cheap side, a lot of times you're having to modify or change some things to actually make it work for the situation that it's not intended for. So that's what we're seeing with this cheap one. So again, a 4.2 horsepower, about half the horsepower as the more expensive one. It also comes with a 1-year warranty. Comes in at 15 pounds, so it's going to be about 10 pounds less than the Master Blaster, which is important if you're kind of bringing this around cars, you're mobile, you're taking it out, it's in a shop, kind of moving it around a lot. Weight actually does become a hindrance if it's too expensive. Like I said, $155 compared to the $400 one. But there's a couple features with this one that I really don't like, and I want to talk about that now. So the first one being with the Shelandy pet dryer does not come with wheels on the bottom one. When you look at the dual motor one, it does not come with wheels, and in fact these stoppers, you can take them off, and then you would just have to go to the hardware store and find some wheels that work for the holes. I tried to replace them with the wheels that come with the motorcycle dryer that I'll show you here in a second, and the threads are too big to fit through this hole, so you could do it and find some really cheap caster wheels or something, not a big deal. The second thing that I want to talk about is that the cord for this is in the front of the machine, which doesn't seem like a huge deal, but it's an incredible inconvenience when you're plugging the hose into there. It's just an awkward placement. It would be much better on the side of the machine or on the back of the machine. Again, just one thing I don't like. Speaking of the cord, it's really short. It's only about a 4-foot cord. So again, not a huge deal, but just a factor that you have to consider. You're probably always going to have, in fact, you are going to always have to have an extension cord plugged into the machine. So again, some things to consider. What I really like about this Shelandy machine, I hope I'm saying that right, is where the hose connects to the machine itself, the main unit itself, and where the nozzle attachments connect. They have like this locking mechanism that's amazing that the Master Blaster doesn't have. The Master Blaster kind of has like this janky like metal thing that you got to turn, which is fine, but it's definitely not as secure as the Shelandy machine. So there you go. There's the expensive one and there's the cheap one, with the cheap one being about, honestly, 1/3 of the price. If you added in some accessories, it may be a better deal, but you're gonna have to make some slight modifications. Now, one that is not really in the cards because it's not a direct comparison to the most expensive car dryer I could find, but I think if you're gonna go cheap, this is actually a better option than the Shelandy pet dryer that doesn't come with the wheels and all that. This is the Shelandy motorcycle dryer. Now, if you're mobile, this is going to be, sorry, we have the studio audience with us today. If you're mobile, I think this is gonna be the most ideal dryer. Now, you're gonna lose a little bit of power and horsepower and drying capabilities. See if it says the horsepower right here on the side. It doesn't, and it's only a single motor, so we could say that it's going to be, you know, probably 2 to 2.1 horsepower, but it does have an additional switch for the heating. And what's really nice about this, and it comes in at $85 right here, and what's really nice about this is that since it's a smaller unit, it heats up really fast. Like I talked about on the Master Blaster, it takes a long time for it to warm up, probably because of that dual motor. Because this is a single motor, it heats up really quickly, and it has a high and a low setting, so you can adjust it accordingly to how you want it. If you're working on interiors, you may want it on the low setting with no heat. If you're working it on the exterior or rims or a motorcycle, what it's designed for, you may have the heat on high and the pressure on high, but I will show all that when we bring it out to work on the car. Another nice feature is it comes with the wheels, and like I talked about on the bigger Shelandy, these wheels, because I thought, oh, I'll just take these wheels. Obviously, they're universal. You can kind of find them at Home Depot or wherever, but these wheels, the threads don't work on the bigger Shelandy machine, which is kind of a bummer, but the motorcycle dryer does come with wheels. It also comes with the cord on the side of the machine. Again, not going to be awkward in the front of the machine, but it also has this really nice locking mechanism for the hose and the attachments on the top of the hose, and comes with an incredibly long power cord. So this power cord is probably 30 feet long, which is really nice, which may eliminate the need for a additional extension cord, which we know when you start plugging into extension cords, you're losing power the longer the cord is. So if you could plug directly into the outlet with the cord, it's very good. It's also very light. This comes in at 11 pounds. So we're talking about less than half of the weight as the Master Blaster car dryer. Again, you're not going to get as much power out of it, but you're gonna get a couple additional features that the Master Blaster can't with the just the overall size of it. If you're a mobile detailer, this is a way better option. And again, if you're gonna go cheap, you might as well go as cheap as possible. So at $85, this is a very viable option for a car dryer. It heats up really fast, almost instantly, to be honest. It is, as this one starts and heats up, it's almost instantly warm to the point where the Master Blaster takes about 15 or 20 minutes in till you really start feeling that it's warm. Also kind of a bear to handle, but the Master Blaster has those really, really sturdy wheels that aren't going to get caught on anything. These are kind of janky and also swivel, which could be a good thing. And the whole point of this video is just to point out features, in my opinion, for which one may be ideal. But I think the ideal blower comes down to how you're going to be using it. So in a shop setting, you may want to go with the Master Blaster because you could get a 30-foot hose with that. You can get a wall mount, and you may be able to leave it stationary in a shop in your wash bay or your detail bay or whatever. If you're a mobile detailer, honestly, this to me is quite annoying because of the weight and the size. It would be annoying to constantly be pointed out. Now, one of my clients has one, and I use it at his house as stationary. He has a 30-foot hose, and it's nice. It doesn't heat up. That was my first thing that was very annoying. It doesn't really heat up about it. So honestly, I think the one I'm personally going to carry around is this bad boy right here, the Shelandy motorcycle dryer. Small, compact, cheap. If it breaks, it's not a big deal. Doesn't get as hot, but I love using it for interiors as well. First one that we have up in the practical challenge, I guess, would be the motorcycle dryer. And this one has the heated, has the wheels. So let's take it out. This one heats up really fast. It has 2 speeds. You can see obviously the water is beaded pretty nicely on my truck. The one nice thing about water beads is that you can dry the truck very quickly. So as you can see, pretty impressive. The noise isn't out of control. You can still talk over it. It's not real loud. And if the water beading's nice, you can dry the truck very quickly. Okay, I re-wetted the panel. Now this is the Shelandy. This is the pet dryer, the big one, the direct comparison, the $155 one, which has no wheels, so you got to hold it. Also has a awkward power cord, so you could see, I mean, significantly more power. That is really, look at that. That's really getting the car dry, especially in direct sun. The biggest bummer, a little bit louder on the noise, but the biggest bummer, honestly, is that it doesn't come with wheels. So this one with wheels and the power cord in the back would be a total winner. But because it doesn't offer that, I mean, the capability to get water off the car as a blower, and it does heat up, it's actually already getting warm right there. The capabilities of it are incredibly good if you can fight through the kind of awkwardness, or if you're willing to get your own wheels on it. And kind of deal with the power cord in front. But as you can see, if we're talking about just from a getting water off the car standpoint, did incredibly well. Last up, we have the Master Blaster. This is the most expensive one at least 400 bucks. I'm gonna fire it up here. Both motors going. As you can see, I mean, it's almost not that you're losing control in your hand, but you can tell the power. And you can see, you can just see how much quicker it's going to get water off the car. Now, that's the one con I really don't like. When you get it into the cracks, that noise is horrendous. So you're going to want some sort of ear protection, just because, yes, you're getting water off the car in a really fast and efficient manner, but it's really loud, and it's kind of annoying because there's so much air going through. So obviously the fastest at getting the water off, comparable though, was the Shelandy for 155 bucks, and it's also quieter. Hi Ray. Also much quieter. As I kind of just finish wrapping this up, I'm gonna use the Max Blaster again, and you can see how much force, ideal underneath spots like the mirrors, but it's almost, and I'm being serious when I say this, it's almost too much power, because you're almost up to compressed air, and then if we're getting into that realm of compressed air speed, compressed air is way more versatile. You can just have a line. So I think, though this does push a bunch of water off the car very quickly, it's very loud and annoying to work with. So I don't know if that is worth it. You have a more expensive machine that is incredibly effective, don't get me wrong, but it also does come with some cons. And that, on the rims, if you're doing a lot of cars like this gets incredibly annoying. But it gets the job done. Granted, that side's in the sun, but we're dry there. So, I don't know. But, yeah. There's our studio audience. Woo woo. That's it. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think, what you're going to be doing. Do you currently use motorcycle dryers or a pet dryer? Have you found this little hack of tools that are kind of made for other industries that we could incorporate into the detailing space? I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions and feelings in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. By the way, if you have any suggestions, there's my studio audience. If you have any suggestions on cheap versus expensive, I'm also going to be launching a new series of legacy brands versus modern brands, thanks to you, a listener who decided to chime in. So I'm going to start investigating products for that. So we're going to have cheap versus expensive and legacy versus modern brands. So if you have any products, I'd love to hear your feedback. I get a lot of inspiration from you guys in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.